Thrifty Living. I'm so happy you're here today with me, and I hope you enjoy part 5 of A Glimpse in My Life. I do enjoy what I have here today, and I hope you'll go back. If you haven't seen all my other videos, go back and check them out. I have a lot of different ones, and I think you'll enjoy some of them. If you like gospel music, if you like cooking, like low-fat cooking, easy cooking, thrifty cooking, shopping hauls, Dollar Tree hauls, all kinds of things. And I do have a playlist. A lot of those are on a playlist, and they're well marked, so I hope you enjoy those. On part 5, this was the year I started high school. We had went to public school our whole lives, and the year that high school started for me, there was a little Christian school that started in our next town over, and my mom and dad heard about it, and they decided that it would be good. It was very inexpensive then, and so my sister and I, got to go to this high school, and I have to say, I'm not sure how much we learned. I mean, we had the basics, you know, the math and the English and all those, and algebra and all those things that you had to learn. But we sure had fun, and I think those were the best memories that we had. Is school was run by a husband and his wife, and they were very talented musicians. They both played the piano, and I think they sing, but I don't remember them singing as much as their absolutely wonderful talent of playing the piano and the organ. And they were really, really good. And of course, I always looked up to them for that. And everything they did was top notch as far as decorating, and they must have had to do it on a budget, because there was not a lot of money going around there. It was an old kind of barrack-like place. It was not a fancy place, but they made it look good. Our friends went, and we got to know the other students, and then again, being a Christian school, the public school, when the kids would get kicked out of the public school, they would send them to our school. So we had a mixture of kids at our school, and a lot of them, you know, come along, and some of them got saved and went to church, and they did very well. They certainly got the Bible. We had chapel at least once a week, and I'm not sure we could have had it more often than that, but it was really a good time. As I remember the most is, of course, we had cooking, and it was more like gourmet cooking, green beans, almondine, and things that I'd never heard of. It was much fancier cooking than, and I can't even think of some of the others, but it left the impression that it was really good food there. And typing, you know, we all had our typewriters, and we'd all sit, and we had we learned the keyboard, and we would learn, we would do these tests, and we all ended up doing really good in typing. And it's one of those things, once you learn it, you never forget it. So even now, I mean, even with working on my laptop, you know, I still place my fingers, and I'm not a one-finger typer. I just type. And it really makes it. We also had choir. As you know, before, you've heard me, we talk about music all the time. The choir was wonderful. We sang a lot of times. We'd even go to the mall or rest homes or something and sing. And then our friend and my sister and I ended up doing a little trio, and we had our dresses that matched, and we sang. As often as we could, we had sing our 3-part harmony. And now my brother didn't come there at that time. He would occasionally play the piano for us, but I don't remember who else played for us at that time. But it was fun. At our school also, they ended up renting an old theater uptown, and they made a church out of it, and they ended up inviting lots of up and coming evangelists to come. And the one I remember the most was Nancy Harmon, and some of you may recognize that name. She was a wonderful musician. She played the organ just like, oh, total. It was wonderful. And she went on to be on TBN, and she had a group of young people that she mentored, and she'd take them around, and they would sing all over the country. And we also had a radio a program. This is about the time in my high school that I started liking boys, and boy, did I like boys. You know, little crushes here and there, talking on the phone to them. We wasn't allowed to go on single dates for a long time. We'd go get in the car, a couple of couples, and we'd go uptown after church and get a Coke. That was our date. I don't remember ever going to movies and going to out to dinner, that kind of thing. It was mostly just going uptown to get a Coke and talking on the phone. That was the big dates. I had youth camp for the teenagers as we got older, and we would go to the youth camp, and we'd have our services, and we'd have a lot of fun. And of course, we had our crushes on the boys, and there was one boy there. He was the organist, and he was really good. You can see how I was like music, and he was real popular. For some reason, I really got a crush on him, and somehow he noticed me. And I dug in my little my album, and I found this, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to post a picture of it. It was called, he handed this to me one day, and it said, "Date card. I would like a date with you." And then he wrote, "To the corn roast. If you keep this card, you owe me a date. If you hand it back, you owe me a kiss. If you throw it away, you owe me both. When do I collect?" Then thank you, and he signed his name. I don't know, I've had that in my, I'm in my later 70s, and that was when I was, 16 maybe, or 17, somewhere around there, long time. But anyway, that was a fun time. I did go on that date, and I think I did get a little quick kiss. It wasn't much, but that was a fun memory, and I never had any more dates with him. That was okay, and of course I came back home, and life went on. I want to also tell you about, we didn't have a library in our town. We'd have to drive to the next little town over, and it wasn't handy. So, and I loved to read, so I found out a neighbor, an elderly lady down the street, had books. She had a whole bookshelves full of books, and they were called Grace Livingston Hill books. And if you've never read any of them, if you like a good, clean, usually a novel of love, and they're always wonderful, clean ones, she had them. And so she was my library. I'd go down there and borrow a book, and maybe two, I don't remember, and bring it home and read it and go back and visit with her, and that was my library, and it was wonderful. And if you've not read her books and you like to read, you can find them even to this day. I got a lot of them. I ended up getting them at thrift stores, but you can get them in the library or elsewhere too. I also want to say that my sister that I've always was so close to, and I know I never mentioned my older sister, because she was 6 years older than me, but so the time I got, she was already married. She got married when she, I think, 18, and so my sister that was next to me, we was always the ones that were so close. Well, she ended up going to a high school back in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden I was on my own. I didn't have my sister. I mean, it wasn't that I was so shy. We had the same friends, a lot of them, but it really was different. I had to get up and be a friend on my own, and I sure did miss her. And the last thing I want to say here is I graduated in 3 years of high school, and because of that school, they said I had enough credits to graduate. So I graduated, and then that summer I went to youth camp again, and then came home. And after we got home, we heard there was a young man at another church that was preaching that he could play the piano and he was very talented. And so we went to that church and seen him that night. And we finagled a way to see if he could get to come to our church and preach the next night. He had a lot of charisma. He was very talented. And I met my husband. That was my husband. So that's my next story I'll be telling you. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you come back. And I just love it when you're here, and I pray God's blessing on you today. And whatever you do in your life may be a total different than mine. I had a lot of great things happen to me, and some of them not so great. And I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm going to say a lot of things I say from now on. But God's been good to me, and I look forward to you come back and share this, like it, give me a thumbs up, and God bless you.